Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Chappell and I'm in the ecology department, and today I'll be talking about determining riverine connectivity in El Yunque National Forest, Puerto Rico. So you may be wondering, why do we care about stream connectivity at all? Well, in Puerto Rico, freshwater streams serve a variety of purposes. They're a source of recreation, as you can see here. They're also a source of food, but most importantly, they're a source of drinking water. Specifically, they're the only source of fresh water on the island, so they're a very important resource. And so, as you can imagine, this presents some issues because there's a human population on the island that needs the water to drink, but there's also organisms that live within these streams that need the water to survive as well. And this problem isn't likely to go away, as Puerto Rico has one of the densest populations in the world. And so this conflict is most likely going to continue and may even escalate in the future, as it is a very large tourist destination as well. And so although this is an issue throughout the island, I'm actually doing my research in the El Yunque National Forest. And so here's a picture of Puerto Rico, and up here in the northeast corner is the El Yunque National Forest. And so this is part of the Long-Term Ecological Research Network, and it has been since 1988. And it actually supplies water for 20% of Puerto Ricans. And so a big portion of that water goes to ex-urbanization that's occurred from San Juan. And so it's one of the largest cities on the island. It is the largest city on the island, and it's only about 30 miles away from El Yunque. So a lot of the water that's taken from the forest is used for that ex-urbanization. And it's also considered to be prime shrimp habitat. And so one question you may be asking is, what do shrimp have to do with connectivity? Well, actually, shrimp need the connection of water that's in these mountains and that goes all the way down to the ocean in order to complete their life cycle. And so the adults actually live in the freshwater streams. They release their eggs and they float passively down with the stream water until they reach the ocean. They begin their life cycle. And then as post-larvae, they actually need to find a source of fresh water, and they crawl back up into the streams until they reach a good pool, and then they live out their lives, and they can live for several years. And so they're really dependent on this connection of fresh water in the mountains all the way down to the ocean, both to complete their life cycle, to transition into post-larvae, and then also to come back as adults. So we can use shrimp survival as a way of looking at connectivity and seeing how connected are these headwaters to the ocean. And so another reason we really like using shrimp is because they're really important to this ecosystem. They provide a variety of services. They keep the water clean by filtering out particles that float in the water, and they also clean algae off of rocks. So it's just really important to keep the clarity of the water. They're really vital. And then they also provide food for other organisms like fish, and then also other larger shrimp that are found within the streams as well. And so as I mentioned, we do believe that El Yunque is a great source for a great area for the shrimp populations. And so there has been work done already in this area. Specifically, a water budget was done for El Yunque. So El Yunque is this big mountain area. And so looking at the water budget in 1994, they looked at all the runoff that was created within El Yunque and looked at how much is allowed to reach the ocean. And in 1994, only 47% that was runoff from El Yunque reached the ocean. And then that number actually dropped in 2004 to 30%. And so what that means is that the municipalities, or the human population, is removing a majority of the water. And so if you're thinking of connectivity on an index of maybe 100% being highly connected to 0 being very low connected, 30% reaching is a fairly low number. And so that means a lot higher shrimp mortality. And so my proposed research this summer, we're doing a 2014 water budget. And so I would actually look at connectivity month by month over the past decade in order to determine sort of the seasonality changes in connectivity. Because as you can see, connectivity is highly defined by how much rainfall falls within the island, because that's really the source of the fresh water. It comes from rain, and then these flows down in these streams. And so here on the right, you can see there's a large flooding event. There was a lot of rain. On the left, there's no rainwater. And so because rain is seasonal, connectivity is most likely seasonal as well. And so by looking at connectivity on a month-to-month basis, you can really see when connectivity is going to be lower during certain periods. And so with that, the implications, because as I mentioned, El Yunque has prime shrimp habitat, it's possible that it's actually a source population for the entire island. And so these shrimp, they're not like salmon. They don't have to return to where they were born. They can go up any freshwater stream. So it's possible that eggs released in El Yunque could float around the island with ocean currents and then go up other streams. And so this could be a very important source population for the island and maybe even potentially all of the Caribbean. So it's really important to know when these shrimp are vulnerable to low connectivity due to too much water being withdrawn, and maybe working with management in order to allow less water being taken at that time. And so my kind of integrative aspect, and if you guys have suggestions, please let me know. Still sort of struggling with that, is maybe looking at payment for ecosystem services. So as I mentioned, these shrimp are providing a free service. They're keeping the water clean. This is a drinking source for people on the island. So they would probably like that to keep continuing. And so maybe looking at payment for ecosystem services and seeing whether that would help keep the shrimp within the streams and keep the streams healthy. So that's it.